but I did kind of resent you for it. Like you were leaving us, you were abandoning us. That's what it felt like. And that was sort of the dialogue in my head. But now it is that perspective that you're doing this to provide a good life for our family. Like you're stepping up and I should be grateful for that.
If you come home and your kids feel like terrible because once they saw you because like you didn't even really say hi, like I don't care how much money you made. It's like irrelevant. Like period. It's irrelevant. At home is what matters more than any kind of amount of money that you make and put in your bank that week.
Because if you're gone a lot, when you come home and like want to go golfing, I used to resent it. I used to resent that because I'm like, you're only home for 48 hours.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
You're going to go spend 16 of them at the golf course.
16, girl.
I didn't know how long it took to golf 18 holes. But I learned to let you go. Like not that, and you learned not to do it every weekend. Right. But back to that, like you need friendships. You need to blow off steam. You need to have a hobby. Does your husband travel for work and you find that puts a lot of stress on your marriage? No matter how much he travels, whether it's a few days, whether it's weeks at a time, whether it's months at a time, depending on what industry he works in, we've just found that a lot of people that can be a point of disconnection in the marriage. It can bring a lot of strain and can pull you apart, whereas it doesn't have to do that. I'm Kristen, and this is my husband, Ben. And years ago, we had grown a company together to 6 figures, but we did not have healthy rhythms in our marriage. We ended up losing the business and almost losing our marriage too. Since then, we have rebuilt everything from the bottom up. Our marriage is stronger than ever before, and we have now built a new construction company up to 7 figures. And so much of it is because we have really put in the work to strengthen our marriage so that it can be the support that our business needs rather than be a strain on the business. And so this is something we've experienced in real time because I remember those times when you would leave town for work and I would be filled with resentment or, it felt like you were leaving me and the kids behind and then you're left with the weight of carrying the household. And I mean, I'm sure it brought its own challenges for you. What was your experience?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's great. You have to get the mindset right because like as a man, like we want to provide for the house. And sometimes that requires us leaving or business trips or working from out of town, whatever it means it takes, sometimes whatever it takes to provide. And I think as a man, like the internal, like our internal being of how a man is created is to provide for the family. So sometimes like, it's like what we have to do. And like, so sometimes we can get so tunnel visioned that like, this is what we have to do that we like sometimes forget that like you are a person. And I need to connect. I need to check in, and I need to make sure we're good. Versus like I'm providing, we're getting the bills paid, and this is what we need to do to make it for in this season. And I think oftentimes like we could as a man we can like ignore or neglect that relationship, which then only further divides and makes it even harder for you at home, harder for the kids, and then when we do come home, it's super awkward. There's a bunch of tension because we haven't like properly connected right and haven't done it right. So I think when we first started, it was like just going in, providing like this is a good job. Like for us, it was construction, so different jobs out of town. You kind of take the opportunities because they're big opportunities. And then you just kind of go for it. Well, obviously, when that for our industry that we were in, like it's super exhausting, right? Because we're like on weeks at a time sometimes, and we're just trying to bust this job out to get it done so we can get paid, and then get out of there and get back home. So there's a lot of healthy rhythms that we didn't have when we first started. That thankfully we learned the hard way and started implementing them. Today.
I feel like for the wife at home, it can just feel like you're continuing on your regular life and just all of a sudden he's not here anymore. And so like you just wouldn't be there. And so if you're not checking in, it's just like here I am carrying the weight of our normal life and especially if there's kids involved. And then all of a sudden I just feel very alone in it if you're not like checking in and stuff. And so it's very much like you're saying the mindset and the perspective that you have because now I didn't look at it like this back in the day. But I did kind of resent you for it. Like you were leaving us, you were abandoning us. That's what it felt like. And that was sort of the dialogue in my head. But now it is that perspective that you're doing this to provide a good life for our family. Like you're stepping up and I should be grateful for that, you know? And so back then it was just, I looked at it very selfishly, whereas now I'm grateful that you're doing that role and taking care of us. I'm glad that you're not just sitting on the couch and we're making no money.
Hmm.
You know, like you're stepping up and doing what you need to do in the family. And so the least I could do is support you from home. And so not looking at it, I think that's the biggest thing. It's just that mental shift and like my attitude towards you. Because then even when you would call and check in, my attitude towards you, even on the phone, you know, like my tone, the way we would talk, it's like I wasn't excited to talk to you because I'm secretly mad at you. And then you feel that because that's more draining for you than it is supportive or encouraging. And so then you don't want to call
Right.
anymore. Whereas now it's like you look for those moments to call and check in, which is cool. To like keep us connected, you know? So like just our heart's different, our mentality around it is different, and it changes everything because like you're saying, then when you're home, it's like we didn't skip a beat. We're still just as connected. It's not like, who are you again? I haven't seen you in a week or weeks or whatever that timeline might look like. But we purpose to stay connected while you're gone so that we just pick up where we left off. And then especially like when kids are involved, you know, the wife can be so nurturing or also so toxic
Mm.
towards the kids, or like to the kids, but towards the husband, you know? And so it can come in passive aggressive comments like, oh, your dad's leaving us again, or yep, he's not home again. You know, like that tone or
Hmm.
that kind of attitude. Your kids pick up on that, they're hearing it, and then you're shaping their view of dad being gone. Then they're growing up thinking dad left us all the time, dad abandoned us, dad ignored us, we're not important, we're not a priority. And that's not what it is at all. And so the power that the wife has in her words, which starts from her own thoughts and her own beliefs. But like guarding your mouth about what you say in front of your kids and the
Hmm.
way that you frame it, um, makes the whole difference for the kids, you know, and their perspective of it. Cause like going back to the whole, like, we're a team. We talk so much about husband and wife. We are a team and our family is a team. And so we each have a role. We each have our little jobs, you know, like even the kids now, they each know what chores they're in charge of. And when you're gone, Lincoln, our 8-year-old son, like he's in charge of the trash because that's like his job, you know? So he takes out the trash. He'll roll the garbage cans out to the sidewalk on those days. And it's like he has this like pride in a good way of like, I'm going to step up now that dad's gone.
Hmm.
And so I think that's super healthy and super cool to see in him. But that we all have these roles. And so that's his job when dad's not here. Well, dad's job right now, his role on our team is to be bringing in money and providing in this way and growing the business in this way. And my job, you know, like we each have our role. And so just looking at it like that, I think it's just how you frame it for the family, how you frame it for yourself makes all the difference between looking forward to it, embracing it rather than dreading it and it tearing you guys apart.
Right. I think because there's so much, maybe it's just from like TV shows, movies, and then just like real life experiences, like the husband traveling for work has such a bad, like, uh, what do you want to call it?
A negative connotation.
Negative connotation around it
Yeah.
from traveling because of, I feel like the movies don't help it at all, but also just like real life because sometimes guys need to, like, check up from the neck up, all that stuff. But for drinking and going out to the little after parties with clients or, whatever their business that they're in, they can wind up getting into trouble
Yeah.
often. And so it has that, like, the wife might be a little bit on like angst of like, I don't know, even though he's a good man or whatever, but like when he's at work, like I don't know what he's doing. So I think even like having those boundaries set in place too, because if you're just like, I'm working, like, you figure it out, and then like not even thinking or like even considering like her feelings or how she's feeling. And it goes both ways because like you can't just be completely like up in arms and like harassing me for like wanting all that and like the comments that you make. But if it's if we're doing this properly, where this is the whole point of all of this, is like when we do things properly and intentionally, then I want to check in and you want to give me the benefit of the doubt. And I think even like, with iPhones, it's like the Find My Friends app. Like there's different little things that makes your spouse feel at ease on both ends too. Because also on the other side too of like where the wife's at home and then like maybe she's just like spending money like crazy and it's like, well, now I have to be out here longer because you're out there spending money and not like, what I mean, just like not connecting in a way where we're not like on the same page. So, and I think there is this too, like if you are in an unhealthy relationship, like if your relationship is unhealthy, like you should consider like a different job,
Yeah.
like for the benefit of your family. Because sometimes like maybe you've broken that trust and like you need to regain that trust. Like you need to like revamp and like it's, oh well, this is what I'm doing and this is where, or this is just what it is. You need to get over it. Like, well, no, because you've like abused that trust. So now you have to go above and beyond, and then maybe you need to consider like having a different job or um going a different direction with like your work.
Yeah. If it's toxic for your
Right.
family, like looking at what's most important long term. Because I know I've heard stories like that too. Like he was in medical sales and then had an inappropriate relationship with the customer out in a different state and those kinds of things. Like whatever business relationships you have, sometimes you can't avoid things like that. And so if you're in, I think it just comes back to like your marriage should always be your highest priority. And if your heart is to honor your wife, honor your family, like God's going to bring something different, like you'll get a different job if that's your heart is to keep yourself safe and pure and honor your relationship, honor your family.
Hmm.
There's so many jobs out there and there's so many different things, different routes you could take. So if that really is a temptation, it's not worth blowing up your family over because the ramifications of that are, never ending. And like, that's not the legacy you want to leave for your family
Right.
and leave for your kids. And so,
Hey there, we hope you are enjoying this conversation. But hey, we had a quick question for you. Right now, currently, who is in your corner for your marriage? One thing we know about the top athletes, the top business owners, the top leaders is that they all can't do it without the support.
that's right. And when it comes to a couple in business, it's the same way. Imagine what it could be like, even if you're not in crisis. Maybe everything's going great. But imagine what it could be like to have a couple in your corner, encouraging you and making sure you guys stay aligned as you continue down your path together.
Or maybe you are in crisis mode and you have no idea where to even start. Well, we can help you with that too.
There is going to be a link in the description below. You can click that link and you can go ahead and book a discovery call with us. We would love to get to know you, hear your story, and see if we might be a good fit to help you on your path moving forward.
Let's get back into this conversation.
But I love how you're saying that it goes both ways and be each spouse being able to trust each other, whether it's spending, whether it's who they're with, whether it's places they go or things that they do while you're gone. I think that app, like we do the Find My Friends, and it's like we know people that won't.
Refuse.
They refuse to like let their spouse see their thing. And it's like, there's literally only one reason why. I mean, what logical explanation do you have of why not? And it's never been for us, like, and this is even kind of smaller scale and like day to day even, but when you'd be at work, you would kind of leave at all different times. And so for me, like I'm trying to plan dinner. And instead of me texting you every single day, when are you going to be home? When are you going to be home? When are you going to be home? And I'm sure for you that felt really nagging for a while. And then finally it was like, if I just look at your location, I can see if you're still at work or not. And I can see if you left or not. So if I'm thinking like timing it with traffic and how far away he is, like I can just, and I used to set it to notify me. I don't do this anymore. But I used to set it to notify me when you would leave work. Cause that's when you were at one location. Now you're kind of all over the place. But like when you would leave the office, I'd get a notification. It's like, oh, I should go start dinner now because I have like 30 minutes, And it was so helpful and it took such a load off. And it was like a practical, easy way to just, I don't have to text you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to make sure to remember to tell me you're on your way home. Like I didn't have to feel like I was nagging you. But like now dinner's ready at a good time, And so it's like that benefited our marriage. And yet when there's secrecy or that like putting a guard up, there's literally only one reason, and it's because you're hiding something. And that deceit is never going to be healthy for your marriage.
Would you say that like mainly men have like the secrecy, or
Yeah.
do you see that in like women too, like being secretive?
About location or where you
No,
are.
just about like in general.
I think in some areas, the generalization would be men. But I think also women, when you get into like talking about spending, like that's the whole thing. Cause I know there's women that have kind of a secret. Like it's joked about, like the Amazon packages that show up on the door
Mm-hmm.
and like, let me hurry and bring him in before he sees them. And oh man, the Ring camera caught the delivery driver again.
Mm-hmm.
Or let me hide these things in the trunk until he gets, like, I think it's maybe gender specific is a generalization, but I think both sides could. And so it's like figuring out what that is for you guys. And if your spouse being gone is a negative like that, like almost like a temptation or a lure of opportunity to go do something you shouldn't be, then put up guardrails for that. Like invite a friend over. If you have like a sister, like have her come stay with you for a few days. Or, like something I really admire is we see like pastors and traveling people that preach and travel, like they always bring someone with them on their trip. And I love that. I think that's
Generally.
really, well, generally, well, we've just seen some do this really well, that it's a guardrail because then you never have anyone questioning that, it's like he brings his male assistant or right hand guy or best friend or something, and they go stay together when they go travel. And like, what an extra piece of security that is for the wife that first of all, she doesn't need to worry about anything. And then if any random girl ever tried to throw out some story just to get in the headlines and accuse him of something, he has these things in place that he's protected and his reputation can't be smeared like that. So I think it's just whatever your life looks like, look for ways to have that piece of accountability so that your spouse can trust and feel safe with that.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, it's just honoring and respecting your spouse, husband to wife, like, and wife. It's just, we should want them to be at ease. If there's any bit of like defensiveness or why do you need that? Or why do you need to know all these things? Or why are you checking the bank account? Why are you checking my location?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your heart in that?
Yeah.
Your heart should be to love and to honor your spouse, to set them at ease, to give them, they shouldn't have a reason to be doubting you or questioning you. And I think it comes from a really toxic place when you're
Yeah.
acting like that.
Well, and from both sides too. It's not
Yeah.
because I think a lot of times the nagging wife is like a thing, and sometimes and maybe I'll get some hate mail for this, but like wife, you just need to chill like for a sec.
Don't nag.
But then the other side is like, yo, husband, like you need to step up, like with your communication, because I think generally, I'm gonna say generally, like men, like you suck at communicating. Period. Come home grumpy, grumbling, like don't say a word. Like, and I was bad with this too, like because we can get so thinking about all the other things, and you just like your wife's like trying to talk, because that stereotype too of all the words like the woman says versus the man thing. But like it's like, but it's true, and but also like as men we could be better at communicating. We could be better at like talking and like having an actual conversation. Like you'll go out golfing or go play ball, whatever, and talking it up with your boys, but like when it comes to like your spouse, like you just like have no more words for the day. Like, come on, like that doesn't even, like that's you being lazy and not taking responsibility. Like that's just period. I think out of all the marriage conferences that we've been to and all the like, investing into our marriage, I think like one of the greatest takeaways was that like it's on me to communicate with you, and that there is the words thing, like you, like for example, like you explaining a story takes way longer than me explaining a story,
But you need all the
but I
context.
don't need any of those details, but like that's just how you're wired and that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
But like that still doesn't like negate, like you can't as a man like have a conversation with your spouse other than grunting in a few words.
Yeah.
I think that's what you just see like often, so much like out there. And so when you do that, then your spouse now is already kind of on edge because you don't communicate with her. And so she's stressed out and she's like wondering what's going on. And so like when you're especially so when you're traveling and you need to, like your only talking is on the phone or FaceTime,
Yeah.
like you're gonna need to talk
You
even
have to
more.
work that much
You're
harder.
gonna need to like communicate with that because it's
Yeah.
like I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you had a long day. I don't care if you had 7 board meetings. I don't care if you're building some house on some river, whatever. Like, and you're exhausted. Like, yo, like you need to have that communication with your wife because if you don't, then you're gonna let her little brain just kind of like be going all over the place. Like I think as a man, we already have things working against us of like words and not having a lot of words and like it because I lead like men's Bible study at our church, a table with our table time, and you just like you ask a question and all the guys just like staring at you like a cow at a Newgate. You're just like did I not make sense? Was I speaking in a different language? Like, did you not understand? It's like, is this how you treat your wife? Because in my head, because of like legacy shift, right?
Yeah.
And like what we talk about, I'm just like, is this how you communicate with your wife too? Like, is this what you do when she asks you a question? Do you just stare at her and not respond? I mean, maybe
Could
it
be.
is. It could be. So we just like you just have to be intentional when it comes to communicating. And it might be painful at first. Like it might feel like you're literally getting your teeth pulled out without any kind of drugs. Like, but guess what?
That's marriage.
It's
You know,
marriage.
that's marriage. We
Figure it out.
sacrifice for each other.
Yeah, well, so first, so in the same context, like it took me a bit to do that,
Mhm.
and it can be like what you've seen, like for you. So like with my dad, and like and then his dad, like just seeing like the generational thing. Well, guess what? Like you're in control of this generation. Like you can break it, and you can set it up for your kids too. And so like just because like the dad comes home and he's grunting and like just eats dinner and goes to bed and watch sports, like that's not healthy. Just because that was the way it was modeled for you, that does not mean it's healthy. And so I think a successful marriage that travels and the husbands out there traveling for business or conferences or workshops or like for us is like another location, um having the top notch communication is the complete game changer that has helped us out.
And leaning on, like, it doesn't always have to be your own words. Cause I even think, then this is like a silly thing, but to get to like practical things that help that you could be doing while he's gone is like, we'll send each other little like DMs, like get on Instagram and like see a funny reel or see a funny meme and like send it to each other. Like, you didn't have to say a single word to send me that, you know? And it made me laugh. It made me smile. So, like, those little things, like just send a text throughout the day that says, "Hey, thinking about you, love you," or
Hmm.
"Hey, prayed for you this morning," or "Hey," you know, like whatever the thing might be, or send a picture, like if you're somewhere cool or you're eating. Like, I think it just comes back to like thought. Like, do you ever think of me when you're gone? And so for the husband, like, hey, think about her, think about your family, and then let her know you're thinking. Like,
Hmm.
take that extra step. Because if you're even out at lunch and
Or
like you
like
have a
she knows
little,
I love her.
yeah, but she needs to hear it often, you know? But I'm just thinking like we have so many little inside jokes or so many little inside like connection points, like our favorite little desserts or little coffees when we go out or little pastries or lunch spots or, you know, just little things like that. And so when you send me something, like you take a picture of something when you're out and then send it to me like, "Hey, thought of you," or you don't even just say thought of you, you just send me this picture.
Just because I know.
Yeah, because you just know. Or
Like a
like
pastries.
pastries, like some beautiful little pastry or like coffee cake or something, and you send it to me, it's like it speaks so much and it's such a simple gesture,
Hmm.
but it speaks so much to like he's thinking about me. That's all, that's what it's communicating, like subconsciously, you know. He thought about me in his day. It's not, he's not seeing me, you know, he's out, he's gone for however long, but he's thinking about me and making sure I feel seen and feel loved and feel appreciated and that he misses me,
Hmm.
you know? And so those little like, "Hey, miss you. Hey, can't wait to get home tomorrow." Like send a little spicy Like, and
Hey,
for, you know, as a wife, like send him a little spicy text message every once in a while and just kind of throw him off,
those are great.
depending on like what his day is like. You know, if he's around a bunch of men all the time and like gross, like construction field, you know, gross, sorry. But like, you know, gross construction men, like a little spicy text message from his wife is like, gives you something to look forward to when you get home, you know?
Mhm.
And then getting the kids involved with thoughtful things. Like even Lincoln will be out at the park and he'll be like, take a video, send this to dad. And it's him like racing through this little ninja course at the playground. And so like he's thinking about dad and wants to make sure he's like knows that we're thinking about him. And then that makes you smile when we
Mhm.
send those things. And just getting just those practical things like, or for me, like sneaking in, I haven't done this in a bit. I'm not going to do it because it's supposed to be a surprise. But like sneaking in a little sweet note in his luggage or packing him a little snack for the airport or, you know, like think of things that you can do to be intentionally thoughtful to each other that we're here and I'm supporting you. Yes, you're going away and doing this thing, but we're still a team and we're still a family. And just sending little notes and little reminders. So it's not like every time you have a spare second, you need to be calling me.
Right.
I don't expect that at all. But if you have like even those times when you're like, I was just thinking about you, like you call to say that, like that so fills my heart, you know, like that
Mhm.
just fills my cup for the whole
I think
day.
as you're building a business and you're out there either landing clients, selling your product, building a location, like it's sometimes it's tough out there, like in the business world. And sometimes you just have those days or those moments where you just kind of get just like smacked right in the head. And you're just like, so then I've learned now to like just call you. Because like if you're my greatest encourager, you're the one number one in my corner, like I should want to call you to get like recharged. And so you as a wife should make that make that also a thing where it's like you are his number one cheerleader and that he can feel like he can call you when he's down. So like for instance for me, like when I'm down or I'm just like, man, this is a rough go these last couple of days, like I'll call you and then like we just talk and then just like after the conversation, whether it's 15 to 30 or 45 minutes and depending on the day, and it's like, all right, cool, yeah, like I'm good to go now. It just like it
Mhm.
like recharges, it makes you like refueled up. Now we're in the EV car, so I have to say like recharge, I can't say like refuel anymore.
Right.
um so it really it's like a huge game changer, I would say, especially when knowing that like you're on my side and we're on the same team. And like we're growing this business together, whether it looks like we're like out there in the world doing it together or you're at home taking care of the house with the kids and like I'm out there trying to grow the business. Like either way, like we're doing it together because like I can't be successful without you doing your part at home and then without you having your full 100% support. Like it's almost impossible to do that, or it's just going to be a struggle and we're both going to be so like, like cats on a tin roof.
A hot tin roof.
Yeah.
Well, because even speaking to like your mental capacity and ability to be creative or innovative or make business decisions, like if you're out and you know that I'm mad at you or you know I'm resenting you or you feel guilty or there's like just that any kind of bitterness between us, like you're not going to perform as well while you're out. It takes up so much mental space that you might not even be aware of. And so you're not going to perform as well out in the field or out whatever you're doing anyway when you have tension at home. And so I think sometimes people don't always realize like how big of an impact the condition and the quality of your marriage has on your business performance. And so making sure you're on the same page before you go, like kiss her goodbye before you leave on the trip. Make sure, even if she's asleep, you know, like those times when like you leave really early. And so I'll wake up to you like kissing me on the cheek and saying, love you when you leave. And I just roll back over and go back to bed. But like I have a little smile on my face, you know, because like I felt seen before you left. You didn't just take off and leave me, you know?
Hmm.
So like from the things that you do before you leave, and then also speaking of the things you do when you come home,
Hmm.
because that can be a challenge. Like speaking from the one who's home, right? Is like I homeschool our kids. And, you know, when I'm when I'm the one that's now like managing the household, we have our church events, we have getting the kids to youth group, doing the different things, the play dates or whatever. Um, we kind of have our rhythm, and I just get into like go mode. I just get into management, like getting the kids, making sure the schedule is right. We're shopping on the days we need to shop, planning the meals, doing the laundry, just the household things. And so like we get a rhythm, and then sometimes in the past, like when you come home, it disrupts the rhythm I had. And then I can get like, oh, that's not our, or
Mm-hmm.
I know what discipline things, like I know what attitudes we've been dealing with this week. I know what issues I've been having with the kids, what I've been training them on this week, or the problems we've been having. And then you come in and sometimes like you'd let something slide that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no, that's been a problem all week. You can't let that slide. Or you come in and you're tired, and like I would feel like you were being too harsh with them. And so those kinds of things like used to be a problem back in the day too. And so I think it's just that intentionality when you get back home, that's like we kind of just like leave space for each other and like have grace for one another. You're settling in, you're like that collective deep breath
Mm-hmm.
that you're home again, but now you've got laundry to do, you've got, and you're tired and whatever, but we all missed you and want to see you. And so let's go do something. And so it's just figuring out like, what does each one of us need for that to go well? And so kind of speaking back to like the kids too and we just did this because you were out of town, but like we kind of make plans for when you're going to be home that are things you would want to do,
Mm.
not just slapping you with like a honey-do list on like, here's a to-do list, all these things I need you to fix around the house. Because we've seen that too. But just like the kids planned a special breakfast for you. So they made French toast with fruit and bacon and eggs and like this whole fancy breakfast. And then the Oregon Ducks are playing. So we know that's
Yes.
going to be on the agenda. And just things that the kids can look forward to doing for you when you get home in a way that is like a blessing to you, but also gives them something to occupy their minds and their little hearts
Mm-hmm.
throughout the week, so they're not, when they're missing you, it's like something to look forward to when you come home. And that's been a really cool little practice that we've had too, of just what are fun things we'll do
Yeah, and then
when dad gets home.
as the dad, as the husband, like it's when you come home, it is the like the decompression chamber, if you will, whatever that looks like for you. And then like knowing that like especially if it's like a Monday through Friday, you were gone the whole week and you're coming home Friday or Saturday, whatever, flying in, driving in, back home. It's like you have like it is sometimes it is painful. You're just like, I'm so exhausted, whatever. Like, but like these people, your tribe, they've been waiting for you all week. Like they've been looking forward to this moment to see you. Like, so you have to make it like the biggest priority, like no matter how tired you are, or maybe how stressed out you are, or just however the week went, you're just like kind of done with it. Like that doesn't matter anymore. Like you're the man of the household. Like it's time to like step up. Like I don't care like how much money you've brought in that week. Like if you come home and your kids feel like terrible because they once they saw you because like you didn't even really say hi, like I don't care how much money you made. It's like irrelevant. Like period. It's irrelevant. Like because like that what at home is what matters more than any kind of amount of money that you make and put in your bank that week. Because if your kid's just like, wow, cool, thanks, dad. Like didn't even say hi, didn't even barely even gave me a hug or didn't even give me a hug, like that's a problem, and that you have to have your priorities straight because you only get one shot at these kids,
Their
their
childhood.
childhood, your
Yeah.
wife, like because those are those little like the little like resentments like start forming, the little like offenses start like happening is when like you don't take the time and you don't aren't prioritizing like just like how they feel and just like making sure they feel they felt seen.
Yeah. Another thing that we did um, is like we have our favorite little cooking show that we watch as a family, and there were new episodes while you were gone, but we don't watch them without you. So it's like that was another thing we did was dad's home now. We can catch up on our little show together. And or like if there's a movie we want to go see, we make sure to time it so we can do that with dad. And not in a like I've been really cautious with my language that it's not like, oh, we can't watch that. Dad's not
Mm-hmm.
here because I don't want to put that on you. But at the same time, also way back in the day, I used to do nothing because
Mm.
you weren't there. And there was a lot of like messed up, just like fears I had and different things that I had to get over. but it was like, I don't need to pause my life because you're not there.
Right.
And so being intentional with that time, that like plan play dates, go get coffee with a friend. Like thankfully our daughter's old enough now, like she can babysit, which is a whole new level of freedom in our family growth. Because I can sneak away and go get coffee with a friend for an hour. And just the way, like what that does for me and like my own personal, like mental health and all of that, it's like, don't just hunker down and wait for him to get home. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
still live your life, still make memories with the kids, still do things. Because I think part of it, or at least what I told myself, was like, I wanted to do all those things with you. Go to the zoo, go to the children's museum, go like, yeah, I want to take the kids, but it'd be more fun if you were there. And we just got to the point where it's like, then I'm never going to do anything because there was a chunk of time where you were traveling a lot. So it's like, well, then we're not doing anything. And that's not healthy either because their childhood is
Right.
disappearing by the second. And so we can still go do all these fun things. And then we'll make note of our favorite things and then do them again when you can
Mm.
come. And so even like a day trip to the beach, like we live an hour and a half away from the Oregon coast and it's gorgeous. And that's an easy drive. I used to never even consider doing that with the kids when you weren't here just because I didn't like to drive or it was a lot of logistics and I don't know if I can do it. And it's like, no, woman up and take
Hey.
your kids out
Okay.
and go do something fun and make memories. And
Yeah.
so that was a big thing I had to get over but I think new moms, depending on the age of your kids, I think just in general, or if you live somewhere and you don't have a community yet, like go look for a local church to like meet people, go try to get plugged in. Depending on how much you have to move for work, even maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
not in a place where you feel like you have a community to pull from. It's just, you can't isolate yourself. That's not healthy either. That's only going to amplify all of it. And so then you're putting that burden on your husband, to be your best friend, to be your mentor, to be your all of these things. And it's like, no, you're meant to find a community to get that from people.
Mm-hmm.
You should have relationships with people too, because when I put all that pressure on you, you were never meant to carry that. And you're not supposed to be that for me. And so keeping everyone in their rightful place, but like, you just need a girlfriend, like go meet someone, go out to a coffee shop and just kind of be approachable, be a friendly looking person
Mm-hmm.
and people will want to be friends with you. And I think our local church is the best place to find that. Get plugged in, start going to Bible studies, find a small group, something like that. But like be friendly, open yourself up to those things. And because we can also get so attached to our spouse and our family only and isolate, and we don't intentionally form friendships, that then one day the kids are going to grow up and be out of the house and like it's just the two of you, which it's great that it's the two of you, but if you don't have friends, like adult friendships, you're missing out on a lot too. And so I think look at the opportunities that come with him being gone. Not that you like look forward to him leaving, but it also leaves room for, now I can make plans and not feel like I'm leaving when he's, because if you're only home for a few days at a time, if you're only home for the weekend and then you're gone, I really cherish that time together as a family. So I won't make plans with other people. But during the week when you're gone, it's like, no, now's the time I can go shopping with a friend. I can go do something, go to a bookstore or
Bookstore.
like plan things with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Friendships are healthy for adults.
It
It's a
is.
big one.
Yeah.
And healthy for you. Because I guess there's that too, is if you're gone a lot, when you come home and like want to go golfing,
You
I
love
used to
that.
resent it. I
You
used to
love
resent that because I'm like, you're only home for 48 hours and
Well, let's talk about that for a
you're
second.
gonna go spend
Because
16 of them at the golf course.
16, girl, she
I didn't know
tripping.
how long it took to golf 18 holes. An hour per hole at least.
On a Saturday, sometimes it can be like that.
That's what the golfers say. Your little secret clubs.
Little
But
sick.
I learned to let you go. Like not that, and you learned not to do it every weekend.
Right.
But back to that, like you need friendships. You need to blow off steam. You need to have a hobby. You need to go out and
Because
do
if
stuff.
you're traveling for work, for business, and you're focused on doing that the whole week. So when
Mhm.
you come home, it's like, well, even though I wasn't home, but technically it's like, well, I still want to like go have fun but the perception could be too like, well, you were out all week, like
Yeah.
eating out and doing all this stuff, and it's like, of course, versus like, no, actually, I was working.
It's like you're on vacation.
Yeah. So it's just that like it just goes back to the communication thing. So I think for one, when you just had said like, the precious moments of the kids, and like we only get one shot, and as they're growing up, like we have to still make the memories and all that. And so like I look at like our boys, right? And then like our oldest is driving now, which is wild. And then I just, as a time of filming this, I just took um our youngest son, who's 8 now, to get a haircut, which I've done since he was like 2
Yeah.
or 3 or whatever. Get him fades and stuff, and get him all like
Keep him
get him
fresh.
all tapered in. And just seeing him, it's like the progression. I just like had like a flash today, and like as he's getting that work done, and then like his like site profile like it's just like changing, and I'm just like, wow, like, obviously we have an older one that's 16, he'll be 17 this year, but it's like, and then but it's like now that's he's the but Lincoln's the baby, and it's like now
He's
he's just
getting a
like,
jawline.
yeah, he's getting a
Where'd
little
this come
jawline, like
from?
kind of like grown, like a kind of coming into that little preteen, which obviously he's only almost 9, but still, but like
Yeah.
as he's getting older and taller, and just like, and he's getting that fade going, you're just like, whoa. Like time is so precious too. So like I would even like encourage, like, and you as a business owner, like, is it worth it? Like what's the goal? Like when you travel, and I know like building clients and like building locations, like it takes work, but like what's the goal behind it? Is it just to build this thing, and hopefully it all works out and you make a bunch of money, or is it like, I mean, are you trying to escape, like really like think about like what, like why are we traveling so much, like what is the point, like is you equaling being away from your family worth it at the end, you know what I mean? Like I've wrestled with it too, like is it really worth it to build another location, like for the construction business, and to be away from you guys, because obviously as you're getting going, like you as the owner have to be away, and the idea is obviously you implement somebody else to do it for you, then you're not as gone, but you have to get the standard in there, you have to do all this stuff,
There's
right?
still a season where you're
So it's
hands
like,
on.
is it, but like going back to that, is it worth it? So I think it's just like, you have to sit down and like with yourself, and like write it out, like the pros and cons, like is it worth it, like is what we're doing worth it, like is it moving the needle, like to like our end goal, like as a family unit, like as we're building legacy, as we're thinking legacy, like is this what like we want to be known for, is this what I want my kids to remember me for, that I was always gone, like on business trips, like I don't know, do you want to be remembered that for, like as like for instance, like just with my dad, like my fondest memory of my dad is like he always worked. Like that's like my number one memory of my dad. Like he was always working in construction, like always gone, like always working, like 6 days a week. Sometimes, come home on the weekend exhausted and won't do anything because he's like so tired. So it's like that's like, and obviously there's other memories, but the number one memory it's like you go to is like he was always working. And it's like, so thinking about like your kids and like building a legacy, like a generational legacy. So, which goes back to this whole point, the legacy shift. So we're
Mhm.
shifting our thinking of our perspective of like, is me traveling like worth it? And like, what am I like? Is it just for the season? Are we just trying to get some customer? Like, what is the, like, where's the end goal?
Yeah.
Like, if you were to have to pull the plug right now and like pivot, like, are you going to be okay with that? You know, I just think there's a lot of we kind of start doing things sometimes, and we don't like fully think about like the ramification of like what this could lead to.
Yeah.
And sometimes like we chase opportunities, like as a business owner, like we're always looking for opportunities to grow, and to expand and like dominate, but sometimes it can come in the way of our family, or like sidestep the family to like try to like for opportunities, to
Yeah.
meet somebody, I meet a business person, or like and we could like negate like at home because we're chasing opportunity versus building legacy. I think
Mhm.
it's like a different perspective when you say like we're building legacy versus chasing opportunity.
And keeping your perspective on open on both because you can get tunnel vision and just be focusing on one.
Right.
And even on the other side where you're just like, okay, family, 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 but then like you're broke, you have no future, like business
Right.
wise. And so it's finding the rhythm, I guess. And so I think a sweet spot too, and you've done this when you could, which has been really cool. But for those that you are having to travel for a season or whatever that looks like, as you're able to, and as your kids are a certain age, like bringing them along with you. So I remember like you even just took a day trip once and like took Lincoln with you. And it's just like bringing them along the life lesson, as a homeschool mom, like I love that because I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, it's school. It's a field trip and entrepreneurship, like all the stuff they're getting exposed to. Like that's so valuable as far as life lessons. But then it's time with you. And especially if you break it up like one at a time, like you pick one child and do some
Mhm.
kind of rotation or whatever, but they get to travel with you. And then it's like a special, like those are standout memories that they'll hold forever
Right.
of when I got to go do this thing with dad. Just me and dad got to go do this. And that's really special too. So as
Yeah.
much as you can and even if like you're flying to speak somewhere, like I've seen that too, that they like that's a part of the deal is I'm going to bring my kid with me. So I'm going to need an extra seat at the thing. I'm going to need someone to help take care of him. I'm going to need a bigger room at the hotel or,
Mhm.
like putting those demands on the clients that are trying to book you or whatever that might look like. But prioritize your family and don't be afraid to ask for those accommodations because I think people like respect that, and admire that, wow, that's really cool that you're bringing them
And
along.
if they don't, maybe it's not
Maybe
something
don't
that you should
go.
be
Yeah,
involved
this is
with.
a key value that I hold. And if you're not willing to accommodate, then I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. But how cool would that be to be in a speaking engagement and see your kid sitting front row watching you?
Mhm.
I think that's just really special. So those times when like he jumps in the truck with dad and you guys go drive out to the second location for the
Right.
day, like that's just he comes back beaming. And I remember the first time I bought him, I like overnighted some stuff on Amazon of like pack him this little adventure bag of stuff he could do in the truck while you guys are driving. And he got a special toy for the day and a special little book for the car ride. And I just remember him
You
coming
didn't
home.
actually use any of it.
He just wanted snacks and
Yeah.
the DVD player, huh?
Mhm.
Whatever he actually needed. But I just remember he came back like 2 inches taller, just got to be with dad today. And so that was really cool.
So it's just the cool thing about just like the life lessons in business where they could, um, actually learn business and see it in real life because it's like it's cool to go to school and learn it in theory, but like to see like actual transactions happen, like that's a game changer. And then these kids are gonna like as they get older, they're gonna kill it
Yeah.
because it's like now they're seeing it in real time, seeing how like to negotiate, seeing, and then like giving them little challenges like in your travels to like and then also like talking things out with them like hey I was thinking about because like letting them like in your mind to like see like your business mind work like because as men we could be so like in our head and just like focusing on what we're doing but like if you brought the kids along with you and then you opened up like this is what I'm thinking and this is why I'm doing it like this and let them be able to see like their little like entrepreneur brains going like oh okay and then you see them cook later on like with each other negotiating with things or like like because sales is like a powerful thing so like learning how to like sell and then even if they can like pull one over on their sibling
Just happened.
just happened.
Cameron sold 6 pieces of gum to Lincoln for $20. I was horrified. I'm like, hey, this kid either has no value of money or he's so like, I'll just get more. That was
Right.
so his attitude, which was cool.
Yeah.
$20 is not a lot of money
Yeah,
to him.
once we
He's
get
like, I'll
more.
just get more.
Yeah, so
We're like, do you
yeah.
know how much that would cost at a store? Do you know how many
You could
packs
have
of
bought like
gum
a whole thing of
you could have
Costco
bought?
like a whole box.
Yeah. And then Cameron's over there with a big old smile on her face, like, yep, I just got $20
Yeah,
for
for
nothing.
6 sticks of gum.
Little
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
So it's goes back to communicating, being on the same page, and then just as you're traveling, like checking in and just developing like healthy rhythms, healthy habits that is success. So that when you do travel, when you're out there growing your business, like you as the business owner, like you're more confident. Why? Because like at home is you're killing it at home. Like your wife, your kids are all in your corner supporting you because you're doing your part and you've established these healthy rhythms to be successful.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation today. Hey, if you guys are one of those couples where your husband travels a lot, then we would love to hear what things that you guys do to stay connected. Write it down in the comments below. Give us ideas and the other people that are going to be reading. It'll just be really helpful. So we hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we will see you next time.